rule. That's how serious the Forestry Commission says this is. They say in just the past month, nearly 400 wildfires have burned roughly 16,000 acres of forest land statewide. Assistant Division Director Balcy Butler says this time of year is typically when fire season slows down because of moisture in the soil. But right now, that moisture just is not there.
A lot of the fires that we are coming across now are not coming from our permitted burns. They're coming from people who are just out burning. And we're urging the public right now to please do not burn, postpone burns until we get sufficient rainfall across the state. Because right now, once that fire starts, it is very hard to get it back in a box.
Now, Butler says they're in an all-hands-on-deck type of situation in responding to these fires, needing more fire crews per fire than what they would normally expect. This fire alert is set to last until at its earliest Monday. Live in Montgomery, Jessica Umbro, Fox 10 News.
And if you want to learn more about the Alabama Forestry Commission's statewide fire alert, Fox 10 takes a deeper dive. Search In Depth with Sarah Wall on our Gulfstream app. Taking a live look outside right now, we have been enjoying this stretch of the good weather, the sunshine. As we mentioned, though, it does come with heightened awareness.
Absolutely. That no burn ordinance that we've been talking about. It's just super dry out there. I was out in the garden earlier today and the grass sounded like Captain Crunch under my sandals. You know what I mean?
It could use some rain, Nick.
Yeah, I will say that we are watching the long-range forecast for some pattern changes, but right now our concern is the lack of rain. And we do have a limited number of maybe still smoldering fires across our area, which might cause some issues tonight because we have fog that's going to develop tonight.
Oh boy.
And fog and any leftover smoke does not mix.
No,
so let's talk about this. Severe drought continues across the area. We are actually getting an update on the drought monitor tomorrow morning. So be sure to tune in with Hannah. She will have that, and then I will have that later on tomorrow morning. We're going to be watching closely because we want to see how much the severe and extreme drought does expand. Looking at the visible satellite right now, and I have the black and white version to show any detail that we could see. We have had active burns, wildfires even, for portions of our area and just outside of our area. Right now, we are not seeing anything on the satellite imagery. If you look really closely, very early on, you can see in northern Clark County a little bit of smoke. But the reason I bring this up is because tonight we have a dense fog advisory in place. We are expecting fog development. But in these areas that I've highlighted there, around where active fires are going, we could see something that is called super fog. It is essentially just dense fog that is really, 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 really bad as a result of existing smoke that is in the air. And if you do have an area where we do have smoke, we could see visibility reduced less than 10 feet. 10 feet. So that is a very serious situation for those areas. We want to be very careful overnight tonight if we do have any smoke left over in the air. Of course, we'll be watching that very closely. A reminder about the fire alert, no outdoor burning until at least April 20th. And a reminder that we don't have a red flag warning in place right now, but the conditions are very close to red flag warning criteria. We have a decent southerly wind and relatively dry air, relative humidity values in the 30s. So that's what we're looking at. Looking ahead in the forecast, though, maybe a rain chance towards the end of this 7-day period. I'll have details coming up.
Well, we're not getting the rain, but others are. Severe weather impacting several states from the southern plains to the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region.
You know, since Monday night, there have been more than 24 reports of tornadoes. This is from eastern Kansas to southern Minnesota, Wisconsin. Shelby, as you know, my family, they're in Michigan, and a serious concern there is the flooding. My sister told me, and she's in Detroit, that she is having a hard time even getting out because of all the flooding there, and it's going to continue.
Oh, we hate to hear that. Yeah, multiple rounds of the rain exacerbating flooding across, like you said, Michigan and Wisconsin. Rivers are already running high after one of the wettest starts to spring on record. And of course, the recent snow melt that they have in those areas too. City leaders are asking people to listen to the warnings.
The roads closed, don't attempt to go past them. We had residents yesterday, one road was washed away, creating a sinkhole actually, and we had about 30 residents kind of wanted to get a closer look at it, and that ground could give away at any second.
Friday is likely to be a dangerous day, especially from Oklahoma to Iowa, where there is a level 3 out of 5 risk of severe storms in place for more than 7 million people. Strong tornadoes, widespread damaging winds, destructive hail, that is all on the table. President Trump says China is very happy the U.S. is working to open the Strait of Hormuz. On social media, the president wrote China has agreed to not send weapons to Iran. Last week, U.S. intelligence indicated China was preparing to deliver new air defense systems to Iran within the next few weeks. The president plans to visit Beijing next month for talks with China's President Xi Jinping.
And speaking of Iran, new satellite images show Iran moving to reopen underground missile bases, even as a ceasefire holds. Heavy equipment is seen clearing rubble from tunnel entrances hit in U.S. and Israeli strikes meant to trap launchers inside. U.S. intelligence estimates about half of Iran's launchers remain intact, though some might be buried. Experts say rebuilding during a ceasefire is expected, and there's still no deal to extend it.
All right, Alabama's primary election is 4 weeks away. 7 candidates are vying for the state's first congressional district seat. And tomorrow, you will hear from them directly. Fox 10 News, along with our sister station WTVY and WSFA, are teaming up to bring you the Decision 2026 Political Forum. I'll be there moderating that event. It will stream live for you tomorrow night at 6:30. We are asking the candidates questions about issues that matter most to the community. You can catch it on the Fox 10 News app, our Fox 10 website, or the Fox 10 Gulf Stream, which is available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
Let's get you an update on the traffic conditions right now. That's the Short Toyota camera network showing you the Bayway, which seems to be flowing smoothly at this time. Elsewhere across the area, don't have any major issues. We are seeing some slowdowns if you're heading eastbound into the Wallace Tunnel there. That is a very typical slowdown. Looks like down the coast we're doing okay. 59 down the Gulf Shores, no major issues here. Overall, the Pensacola area is doing okay. However, in Baldwin County here, if you are heading towards the east, we do have one slowdown that is popping up on Interstate 10 close to the state line. Otherwise, not a major issue. That is something that you can get through. And it looks like Northwest Florida, I have nothing else to talk about there. We will keep you updated, of course, though, if anything does happen.
You will. Thanks, Nick. A waterfront rescue mission in Bishop State Community College started a new program. It's to help people at the shelter find a path forward.
Yeah, Bishop State and Waterfront have worked together for several years to get some of Waterfront's clients into different classes. And now they've created a special workforce development course just for them. 6 men are in the inaugural class and are working toward different certifications, including forklift, flagger, and others. It's still early on in the course, but the mission says so far the students have been pretty excited.
After every week when we have all these classes, we have a sit-down session about how's it going with this, and everybody's so excited that they have an opportunity to even go to college, how easy it was to get enrolled into college, how easy it was to do things here. So it's just pretty awesome to see how they are really excited about the class.
You'll hear from one of the students about what the class means to him. That's coming up in less than an hour at 5. Ahead on Fox News at 4, a new president has been sworn in at the Medical Association of Alabama. The cool part, she's from Mobile. The even cooler part, she's here in the studio. You're going to hear from her in a live studio interview next. Plus, a jet skiing fisherman surrounded by sharks and a $1 million Picasso selling for $117. That is in today's Take a Look at This. But first, let's take a live look outside. A heads up, you've got yellow and purple flags flying out there. Watch those toes if you're at the beach. Stay close. Welcome back. A Mobile pediatrician has been sworn in as the new president of the Medical Association for the state of Alabama. Here to talk about that new role and so much more is Dr. Nina Ford Johnson. Thank you for stopping by. I can't imagine your phone right now. You know, have you looked at social media?
It makes me nervous because everything I see my picture, I'm like, oh my God.
Right. But do you see the comments? There's so much support and trust in you getting this role. How does that feel?
I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
All I want to do is serve, and this allows me to serve at an even greater platform and serve more people, because that's what it's all about.
So what does this role mean for you professionally? I know the layers there of the personal weight it carries, but professionally, where does it sit?
It allows me to be a voice for physicians who may not feel they have a voice. And so even the rural physician, the minority physician, the woman physician, regardless, allows me to be their voice and speak for them, as well as the communities in which we serve.
Yeah, I know, I'm glad that you mentioned rural hospitals. We are going to touch on that because a major incentive just announced to retain doctors for rural communities. But what is the immediate attention that you see is needed?
Good question. And I'm so grateful that the legislature has given us more money to do those scholarships. It's a possibility of 9 new doctors coming into those rural areas to establish care. Access to care is very important for our communities. So how can we do that? We need to strengthen the physician workforce, get those doctors who are here, tell them how important it is to stay and dig up roots here in Alabama. Strengthen our physicians who are members or trying to get them to become members of the association, so we can be a collective voice together, voicing our concerns and serving our patients well.
We're going to have much more on that part coming up later tonight, but when you look at what's happening in Alabama, in rural communities, it's not going to be an overnight fix.
It's not. It's not. The scholarship is a great step forward, but we have a long way to go. There's no way that a mother should have to drive an hour, hour and a half to have a baby. When us in Mobile and Baldwin County, we can drive 10, 15 minutes. It doesn't take us that long. So they deserve the same care and access that we have. So how can we do that? Well, the scholarship is a great start, but we have to continue having those conversations, how important it is to get those doctors, other doctors in hospitals to start opening up in those areas.
So a pediatrician.
Yes.
To this.
Yes.
They seem different for me.
Yeah.
Is it?
So, no, it's not, because with kids, they don't vote either. So pediatricians become their voice, and so it allows me to to become more of a voice for children, but also the others that are disenfranchised who feel that they may not have a voice as well. And so that's what it's all about. It's about serving.
Yeah. I could talk to you all day, but we are out of time. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, we're just we're here to serve. We want to make sure patients and every citizen in Alabama has access to care. And I have an ask too for all. Yes. So every citizen, if you have a physician or a doctor that you go to, ask them if they're part of the association. Have them join Dr. Johnson in this fight so we can serve and provide access to all of our citizens in this great state.
The call to action, I like that, because it's a team effort.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to have this interview posted for you on fox10tv.com so you can get to know our doctor more. Look for it shortly after this newscast on fox10tv.com.
At 4:16, a look from our Eastern Shore Toyota cameras here. This is at Dolphins, Mobile River and Mobile Bay there. A little bit of traffic getting into the tunnel. We keep an eye on that, of course. But overall, across the region, it is quiet right now. It's 83 degrees in Evergreen, 82 Mobile, 80 in Biloxi, 78 in Pensacola. Very dry conditions, of course, across the Fox 10 Ewing area. No rain in the forecast for today or tonight. You can see here the regional airport reporting 82 degrees with a south wind at 14 miles per hour. South-southeast at 13. Downtown airport is 79 degrees there. In Gulf Shores, it's 77 degrees and it is 78 at Pensacola International Airport right now. Again, that wind out of the south around 10 miles per hour. As we go through the overnight period, we'll have a few clouds around, but the big story will be the fog that develops. So we have a dense fog advisory that is already in place. So we're going to start with temperatures in the 50s and 60s tomorrow morning with fog around. Then in the afternoon, the clouds start to develop here, the puffy cumulus clouds there in the afternoon with the daytime heating. I cannot rule out 1 or 2 rain showers. Notice I'm saying 1 or 2. very, very little coverage of rain showers tomorrow. Most places will stay dry. About 80 to 90% of our area will stay dry here tomorrow. This is 2 p.m. 83 in Jackson, 82 at Moore, and 80 in Mobile. A very warm afternoon is ahead for the Gulf Coast. Then as we head into the evening time, any rain shower will fade away and we'll be left with mostly clear skies. Temperatures falling through the 70s into the 60s. How about Friday morning? Friday, more fog seems very likely here. Look at the forecast model, really aggressive with that fog coverage. Then as we go to the afternoon, few clouds. It actually tries to squeeze out a shower. I do not think we will see rain showers on Friday because the upper level forcing will not be in place there. So despite what the model says, we're going with a dry forecast then. Here you can see over the next 7 days, dry on Friday, dry on Saturday. On Sunday, hey, there's a rain chance around 30% with a cold front passing through. Be mostly first half of the day, 1 or 2 rain showers, and that's it. And then Wednesday of next week, and actually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, it looks like we could be getting into a pattern change. Here's the GFS forecast model. You can see for Friday, southerly wind continues here. More clouds on Saturday. Here's Sunday morning. Sunday morning, a few rain showers are possible here early in the morning. But then as we go to the afternoon, all that fizzles away and we go quiet again. Cooler temperatures for early next week. Then later on in the week, this is Tuesday, there is green. A pattern change looks possible for our area. We introduce a rain chance around that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Here's Wednesday, a higher chance for rain Thursday as well. It does look like that. Rainfall over the next 7 days with the GFS forecast models. You'll see the numbers start to come up here as we change the pattern. Also, one quick note after that front, 75 degrees on Sunday. It is going to be a slightly cooler period early next week.
Looking forward to it, Nick. Kinda. All right. Speaking of cooler, this year's brutal winter may be over, but it's impacting a breakfast staple, maple syrup. The sugaring season usually runs from mid-February into early April. Wild temperature swings, though, cut that time in half for this year in Williamsburg, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Dufresne's Sugar House says they had just 3 weeks to collect enough sap for the year. Maple season needs about 40 degrees during the day and mid-20s at night. Deep snowpack delayed the start and warm-ups forced more pauses. In the end, they made about 1,500 gallons, down from a best of 2,500. Now it's on to bottling, packing, and shipping, and waiting on next season. Okay.
Oh, man. I knew it. I knew it. Just by being over here, they were going to be massive.
Look how big that is. Looks like they're our size, but don't worry, they're not. They're mighty, they're small, but they are back.
It doesn't look small. Talking about mosquitoes, they're starting to swarm across the Gulf Coast this season, and so health professionals are wanting you to pay close attention. The pests start showing up when the temperatures get higher than 50 degrees, and then once we're at 70, those numbers, Shelby, explode.
Oh, yeah, then you see those swarms like you're seeing in this video. Near the water, the season can stretch longer, sometimes lasting from late winter all the way into fall. The Mobile County Health Department's Vector Services just received 100 new Sentinel chickens, part of a program running since 1985 that uses the birds to detect viruses carried by mosquitoes, including West Nile and Eastern equine encephalitis.
Once the chicks mature, usually by May or June, they're placed into 13 coops across the county. Blood samples are collected so they can check for disease. Health leaders in Mobile County say they're keeping a close eye on most mosquito traps. And by May, the populations are often high enough to start spraying local neighborhoods at night.
So I'm going to have to be prepared because mosquitoes is one of those insects that they can do a lot of damage to you if they bite.
So your first line of defense is right outside your door. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of standing water to breed, so empty those buckets, clear your gutters, keep water moving in pools or ponds, and that can make a huge difference. And if you're heading out, especially around sunrise or sunset, experts recommend wearing light clothing and using repellent with 20 to 30% DEET.
Coming up tonight at 5, the risk for disease some mosquitoes can carry and how you can stay safe. A fisherman has a whale of a story and the shocking video to back it all up. It's after he found himself surrounded by a feeding frenzy of sharks. Jeremy Roth with today's Take a Look at This.
What is going on? watch a fisherman realize he's smack dab in the middle of a huge shark feeding frenzy. Oh my gosh! Pro surfer Brett Barley was fishing for tuna and drumfish on a jet ski off the North Carolina coast when he accidentally snagged, then lost a shark. Mere moments later, he realized he was surrounded by countless sharks engaged in a frantic feeding frenzy. Oh my word! Barley says he believed the sharks, which were feeding on baitfish, were spinner sharks, and added if you see some of them above the surface, there are probably far more below. So Barley says he stayed calm and slowly maneuvered his craft away from the fray. Another frenzy of shark-related activity, but this one is from U.S. wildlife officials and frankly is kind of a bummer. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service say last fall agents intercepted illegal shipments of some 50,000 dried shark fins at U.S. multiple ports. The shipments, seized in Alaska, Ohio, and Kentucky, were disguised as car parts and were in transit from Mexico to Hong Kong. The service says the sting was part of a global effort to combat illegal wildlife trade and say the seized shark fins were valued at more than $1 million. Finally, more than $1 million is what experts say this Picasso painting is worth, but one lucky Parisian just bought it for about $117. You heard that right. The Picasso work Tête de Femme was the centerpiece of a raffle called One Picasso for €100, with 120,000 tickets sold for €100 each, with proceeds benefiting Alzheimer's research. A lucky winner was drawn, which ended up being a software salesperson from France who will now be the proud owner of a genuine Picasso for about the price of a dinner in Paris. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
When we return, an actor known for his role in the 50 Shades of Grey franchise is taking part in a different one. We've got your details in your entertainment news next.
The Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Trying to guess the baby's name.
We need to start a poll on social media.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Can I give a hint? No? Okay, let's talk about this. Madonna is about to drop a full-length album for the first time in 7 years.
Yeah, the pop queen made the announcement on social media, posting a photo of the album cover. Confessions on a Dance Floor, Part 2, is set for release July 3rd.
Okay, so this is a sequel to that 2005 dance record that she made with producer Stuart Price. You know, Madonna's a Michigan girl,
Yeah.
so I got to root for her.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if it's that song, the one that goes music. I can't sing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not going to sing it, but I wonder if that was the one from that album.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. DJ, put
Yes.
the record on.
Hey, Mr. DJ.
See, there you go. Okay.
Anyways, I'm more interested in this story, I'll be honest.
I
Middle
know.
Earth has found its new Aragorn.
Warner Brothers announcing 50 Shades actor Jamie Dornan is going to play the fan favorite Ranger of the North in The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum. Actor Viggo Mortensen originally played that role in Peter Jackson's trilogy.
As previously reported, Ian McKellen will reprise his role of Gandalf. Elijah Wood's coming back as Frodo Baggins. The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum is scheduled to hit the silver screen December 17th, 2027.
Grab your popcorn.
I know, I'm so excited for this. I think Viggo kind of turned it down. He's
had a lot going on.
He does, and I think it's a prequel, so you're wanting to look a little younger. Frodo, Elijah Wood, he has a baby face. He always has. I think he can fit that role. Ian, I mean, he was old in the first trilogy, so
Yeah.
he's old now.
Yeah.
I think Viggo kind of trying to fit that younger mold too.
I guess, but I look at Harrison Ford and,
Yeah.
you know, doing Indiana Jones.
I would've been
the
fine
whole
with it.
AI, so he could have done it.
Yeah.
I just think he had other projects. He's in Hunger Games now, right?
I think so.
So, yeah.
I love Strider, so that's one of my favorite characters in the trilogy. Him and Orlando Bloom's character Legolas. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready for it. Bring it. Next, we're going to talk Weather Wonders, a family-friendly event where you can learn more about the science of weather, whether you're having fun in the process or just looking to explore. It's a live studio interview next.
And we're also going to have this story for you.
This is an issue that has been top of mind for American consumers over the past 5 or 6 years.
Is your grocery bill feeling too high? It's not something you're imagining. Next, why prices remain elevated and the expert tips that can help protect your wallet.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
All right, we are talking about the weather. And this is weather that you can actually get your hands on. This Saturday, the National Maritime Museum of the Gulf in Mobile is hosting a Weather Wonders stream. This is STREAM Saturday. Here to talk more about that is Haley Sprague. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
We were just talking about, science and exploring the different creations that you can do with slime. I've got a daughter at home who loves still making slime. But getting back to this Saturday, what can people expect? It's about meteorology.
Yes, so some of the activities will include making a tornado in a bottle, your own electroscope, so learning about static electricity and how that forms in clouds, and then finally an anemometer so that we can measure the wind speed.
So how did all of this come about? I mean, because when you're talking about the weather and you're trying to explain it in such a tangible way, it can be tricky, but you said you're putting like stuff in a bottle?
Yes, so we're going to take 2 bottles, water, some electrical tape since it's waterproof, and through turning it back and forth, create a little vortex, and it'll demonstrate how tornadoes form.
There you go.
But everything we do meets next generation science standards, and so it's super educational and informative, but while remaining hands-on and super kinetic and fun. That's the goal.
Yeah, there's been such a push behind science and technology and engineering for young minds, and this is the opportunity that parents can take advantage of. How can they get involved with their kids?
So you can sign up on RecDesk, so that's nprd.recdesk.org, and there you can sign up if you're from ages 5 to 13. It's free, completely free, and kids will receive pizza at the end as well.
Hey now, whenever you get food involved, then you have doubled the attendance.
Exactly.
So really quickly, I want to make sure that we go over the date. It's coming up this weekend. Again, go over the when and where.
Yes, April 18th at the National Maritime Museum of the Gulf. It'll be 9 to 12. Show up at 8:30 for registration. We prefer if you pre-register, but we accept on-site registration as well.
A lot of kids are on spring break, so this would be a great opportunity to continue the learning as you're taking some time off. I'm curious, of these experiments that you are testing out, do you have a favorite?
I have to say I'm partial to the anemometer because we're going to have a fan and be able to do the calculations in real time to figure out the miles per hour.
Okay, and we are almost out of time. I'm looking at some of the pictures here. It looks like the attendance has been great so far. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just if you want to experience like a fun, hands-on learning experience, that's what STREAM is all about. We want it to be accessible, informal, educational experiences.
I say this all the time, but I wish they had these kinds of activities when I was growing up, because this is just, it's hands-on and it's fun and you learn.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have this information posted for you on fox10tv.com so you can share it and get registered. Look for it shortly after this newscast on fox10tv.com.
I was going to look for my tornado in the bottle, but I think I left it somewhere. It might be in my car or something. I have one of those as well. All right, let's talk about the forecast here. Yes, I do. All right, so let's talk about the forecast here. Eastern Shore Toyota Camera Network. There you go. A little bit of a hazier look. Also a little bit of traffic out there. We're keeping an eye on things with our Eastern Shore Toyota cameras. Look down Orange Beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. D'Iberville, Mississippi. This is looking off to the north. I noticed this on radar. We do have a fire that is going on there. Don't know the cause of this. Don't know exactly where this is, but I've been keeping an eye on the Facebook feeds and stuff. If you have any information about that, please reach out to us, but it does look like there is a fire that's getting picked up there. Again, in the state of Alabama, no burning, no burning, no burning, no burning, because it is very, very dry. 79 degrees right now in Mobile. The Mobile view is looking very nice. If you have any good photos to send us, Want to remind you that you can send them in on the Fox 10 weather app. Head to the homepage, scroll down. There's a little bit of a process. Hit browse to open your photo library to actually select the photo. Then you can fill out the form and you're good to go sending off your photos. We desperately need them, so please send them in. If you're down at the beach, we want to see what it looks like. We're keeping moderate surf for tomorrow. Surf around 1 to 2 feet. Again, you could see a range of yellow flags. I have seen a couple red flags flying in spots, so pay attention to whichever beach you're going to. Warm, mostly sunny with that moderate surf, partly cloudy skies. No rain issues tomorrow at the immediate coast. Boating forecast tomorrow, a south wind at 5 to 10 knots, seas around 2 feet. Bays will be at a light chop. Nice conditions out there with that southerly wind. However, that southerly wind does pick up in the afternoon, so remember that. 80 degrees here on Friday with dry conditions. Again, we're dropping it to a low risk of rip currents. Then Saturday, 79 degrees, low risk of rip currents as well. Let's hop down to the beach and take a look at things. Look at all the boats there on the island looking really nice. Here are your weather headlines. Again, mostly sunny and dry. However, some morning fog tomorrow. And could we see a pattern change in the long range? I'll have another look at the forecast coming up.
For many families, grocery prices are putting pressure on the budget. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman speaks with a food economist about why food prices remain elevated even as inflation has slowed and what shoppers can do to save money.
At the National Food Policy Conference in Washington, D.C., food economist and Michigan State professor David Ortega said food inflation has been a major concern for consumers for years.
This is an issue that has been top of mind for American consumers over the past 5 or 6 years.
USDA data shows food prices surged in 2022, then slowed in 2023 and 2024.
Inflation is the rate of change in prices over a period of time. So how quickly prices are rising. And what we saw is that over the past 5-6 years, especially in 2022, we saw the fastest growth in that price level, almost 11-12% year over year.
But Ortega says slower inflation does not mean food prices are falling.
It just means that they're not increasing as quickly.
Ortega says the conflict in Iran and disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz could push food costs higher by driving up oil prices. But he says that kind of pressure does not hit the food system all at once. Transportation costs can be one of the earliest pressure points, even though they are only one part of the total cost of food. For shoppers, though, the more immediate question is how to manage high prices right now.
What should I know as a consumer when it comes to food inflation and how I can protect my wallet?
If you're looking to keep your grocery bill in check, it's going to pay off to shop around. There's a lot of grocery retailers that are offering promotions to be able to compete for your dollars and to draw you into their stores. So definitely shop around.
Ortega also recommends looking at private label or store brands, checking your pantry before you shop, planning meals ahead of time, and sticking to a list to help limit impulse buys. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
A new survey shows how many people are drowning in a particular household chore. We're talking about household hamper habits when we come back.
Get ready, because tomorrow morning we're expecting some fog, and it could be dense in some locations. That's our top headline here on our Big 3 weather headlines. Warm and mostly sunny in the continuation of our dry forecast. Tomorrow there is the smallest chance of a scattered shower popping up in the afternoon. Now, looking way out in the forecast, a pattern change cannot be ruled out towards the middle and end of next week. Something we're keeping an eye on. We'll take a look at it in a moment. But first, our dense fog advisory that's in place. Now, you see the yellow areas here. I could probably add another one now here in Jackson County. These are areas where we have had burns that have happened. In those areas, with the smoke, prescribed burn or not, you could see reduced visibility more than what you would see with just fog or just smoke. Call it super fog. That's just a fancy and to me, a little bit exaggerated term. That means that, hey, there's going to be some extremely low visibilities possible with this if you mix the fog and the smoke, possibly less than 10 feet, which is really serious. So keep an eye out in those areas where we do have smoke that is in the atmosphere. Otherwise, fog in the morning for spots, then in the afternoon, partly cloudy and very warm temperatures in the 80s, winds kicking up out of the south there. Pensacola, 67 degrees in the morning with some fog around, and then you're going to see 77 there at 4 p.m. with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures elsewhere across the area, 87 Evergreen, Bruton, 87 in Chatham and in Calvert. Beach forecast tomorrow looking great with moderate surf, 79 degrees, 0% chance of rain. Here's that futurecast with the HRRR model. Overnight tonight, some clouds, and then the fog development there. You can see pretty aggressive tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, there's a couple rain showers that become possible there. 20% is the number that we have. But look at next week. After a Sunday front, early next week, it is cooler. Then rain chances return by the end of next week. Good news there.
Come on, rain. Well, the Gulf Coast, of course, is rich in history, and some of its most iconic landmarks have been guiding sailors safely to shore for more than a century. In this latest episode of our original series, Unwritten Legends of the Gulf Coast, we're going to take you inside the storied past of the region's historic lighthouses and what they reveal about life on the water long before modern navigation.
Well, Alabama only has 2 lighthouses. They are in their original locations. They tell a great story about what navigation was like more than 100 years ago and how our ancestors would have been navigating this bay to get up to the port of Mobile.
You can watch this full episode of Unwritten Legends of the Gulf Coast free anytime on our Fox 10 Gulfstream app. Just download it on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple, or Android TV.
All right, Shelby just telling you how to get that app, and I'm going to show you again in case you missed it. We've got our Roku app turned on here for you. If you haven't already, just go to the search option and type in Fox 10 News Gulfstream. Once you do that, it'll be downloaded to the home page, easy for you to find and open up. Once you have it download it, I'm going to scroll down until you get to the tab section, and you can scroll over to where you see Unwritten Legends, clicking there and going over, and there you go. There's that lighthouse story right there, in addition to some of the other content that we have for you, including stories about the ghosts along the Gulf Coast here, of course, the Amtrak Mardi Gras experience. A lot of good content there, in addition to our Aging Untold series, and of course your latest news and weather. So if you haven't had an opportunity to download that app, I encourage you to do so.
Quick traffic update for you here at 4:49. Bayway, that part moving smoothly here. We'll hop over towards the western side of the Bayway. If you are heading eastbound near the Wallace Tunnel, it is running slower all the way down to exit 30. Coastal areas were fine. Pensacola were pretty much fine here with no major issues, and it does look like we've seen improving conditions in Baldwin County. Of course, we'll let you know if anything changes, but right now I have no major incidents to report. We're keeping an eye on your interstates, though, of course.
A new survey suggests an important household chore seems to be taking up a good chunk of your time.
Yeah, it's done this for generations, right?
Right.
The American Cleaning Institute conducted a survey of 1,000 people 18 or older and measured their laundry habits ahead of National Laundry Day.
There's a National Laundry Day.
Who knew?
The survey found 50% of households in the U.S., they have 4 or more loads of laundry a week. Popular laundry routines include pre-sorting and pre-treating the stains.
Yep, do that. According to the survey, many Americans also gravitate toward add-ons like fabric softener, dryer sheets, sanitizers, bleach, and scent boosters to enhance their laundry experience. I don't do any of that. I keep it simple.
You sort?
I do sort.
Mm-hmm. So how many sorts? Do you do dark, light, and white, or do you just do dark and white?
I usually do it.
And then do you sort your towels from your clothes?
Yes. That's more, I don't necessarily sort colors except for reds. I do not ever put my reds with anything light because it might come off.
Okay.
But I sort from towels to like my nicer clothes to like my t-shirts.
Okay.
That's how I sort.
All right.
How about you?
Shelby, I'm sure you can guess.
You got a whole system down, don't you?
I do. And then I let someone else fold it.
Yeah, that's smart. Talk, yeah, the excitement. A former hospital janitor is headed back to Yale, but this time as a doctor. And the moment with her mom that changed everything. Well, the American dream promises if you work hard, doors will open. For one woman in Connecticut, the doors to her future opened with a mop.
I love this story. She's going to be walking back through those halls as a doctor. Deborah Alfarone has her story.
This viral moment didn't happen overnight.
You never wavered. No.
Shay Taylor Allen is on her way. In 2011, she was 18 years old, fresh out of high school, and searching for a path.
And my mom is like, you either have to work or you got to go to school. And that's when I got a call back that I got the job as a janitor.
At Yale New Haven Hospital in Connecticut, one of the world's best.
We would get our assignment. I'll get my cart ready, get my bucket ready, just make sure everything is good for the day.
Then Shay's mom, Shima, got sick. She says doctors didn't have any answers. One question changed everything.
The doctor pulled me to the side and was like, do your mother have a history of mental illness? And I'm like, no, why are you asking me that?
Shay started researching healthcare disparities. Then Shay did something bold. She emailed the hospital's CEO.
I am the janitor that cleans your office. This is what my mom is going through, and I don't think it's right. Is there any way that you can help us? Within that day, she emailed me back. So they ended up switching her team, and they found out that she had vocal cord dysfunction. And I just got to see advocacy happen so fast, and I was very motivated by that.
It was at that point Shay knew she didn't just want to work in a hospital, she wanted to change what happens inside one.
I knew I wanted to help more people and be that doctor that my mom didn't have at the time. It was very personal to me. That was the moment. Yes.
At 28, Shay enrolled at Howard University College of Medicine in the nation's capital. The path was tough.
Because I had no mentorship. I didn't know anybody in my family that was a doctor.
And along the way, met the man who would become her husband, Kenton.
She doesn't take no for an answer. She wakes up every single day, and then she always accomplishes it.
Now at 32, more than a decade after her first janitor shift, Shay's heading back to Yale, this time as a doctor, specializing in anesthesiology. Black women make up just 2.8% of physicians in the U.S., a number she's helping change.
I had people who said, you pushed me to go get my master's at 50 years old. I think the biggest lesson is that the sky is the limit. I think a lot of people love this story because it's the American dream that we always wanted, right? You work hard and you can eventually get what you want. And for so many years, people haven't seen that. No matter what your background is.
We're in the studio now with this story. And Shelby, you just wrapped up an interview with the new president of the Medical Association in Alabama.
Yeah, I did, Cameron and Lenise. Newly sworn in president, Dr. Nina Ford Johnson, is a Mobile native. And she's praising what the 2026 legislature did for the program and for rural patients who too often go without care. The Alabama Board of Medical Scholarship Awards program, known as the BMSA, provides loans of $200,000 or more to medical students and residents who commit to practicing primary care in medically underserved communities. If they complete the service, the loan is forgiven. This session, the legislature made two key changes. The program now uses federal designations to better target underserved areas, and lawmakers allocated $2.4 million to support 9 new doctors. The session also included a separate $500,000 allocation for a new physician assistant loan program. It has a strong track record, too. 95% of recipients stay in Alabama to practice after completing their service.
It depends on how many years that they need the loan. So at most could be 4, so they stay for 4 to 6 years. And our hope is if they stay for 4 to 6 years, they develop roots in that community and they become one with that community and they stay. Those citizens are ones that should not be forgotten. They are our citizens, they are part of our community, and we need to make sure they have equal access just like everybody else does.
And this update comes as Alabama is also pursuing a $203 million federal rural health transformation grant aimed at improving access and care across the state, too. If you're a medical student and this interests you, you can go to your dean and ask more questions about applying for the scholarship. We'll also post the website to apply on fox10tv.com. In the studio tonight, Shelby Myers, Fox 10 News.